The individual reached into the truck, pulled out a rifle, and opened fire on him. He fired at least 10 shots, and Elio was hit multiple times.
We now have a clear picture of what happened to Charlotte County Sergeant Elio Diaz and how other deputies tracked down the man who killed him.
Get out of the car right now!
It only took one bullet to put a stop to a situation that could have been even worse.
Andrea stopped what could have been a potential bloodbath. In my book, she's a freaking hero.
From the shooter's motivation to the arsenal hidden in his truck, we're unpacking every piece of new information from the Charlotte County Sheriff. Your News at 5 starts now.
On July 15th, Daddy was given to us and put on this earth. And on December 15th of 2024 is when everything was taken away from my family and I.
A loving husband, father of 4, and Charlotte County deputy is laid to rest.
His goal in life was to give back to others.
Sergeant Elio Diaz turned ordinary moments into extraordinary acts of bravery.
My protector and my forever superhero.
Let me tell you, Superman never dies. Superman's still with us. He may not be here in physical form, but he's looking down upon us today.
We're showing you how the community gave him a fitting farewell. Your News at 5 starts now.
Live, the news you count on. NBC2 News at 11.
Gunfire and screaming. A campaign rally takes a terrifying turn as shots are fired and people duck down for safety. It all comes as the FBI continues to push for a motive as the president pushes for peace.
Let's remember, here in America, our unity is the most elusive of goals right now.
And with the Republican National Convention just hours away, safety now a major concern.
There's a significant amount of added security that's going on here.
Politicians from right here in Southwest Florida now joining us from Milwaukee, sharing their thoughts on the added measures now in place and reaction to seeing former President Donald Trump in person after an attempted assassination. Your News at 11 starts right now. We are just hours away from the start of the Republican National Convention, and you are taking a live look at the site for the convention there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We do know former President Donald Trump landed there in Milwaukee just a few hours ago, only a day after nearly being gunned down at a campaign event there in Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for counting on NBC2 News here at 11 o'clock. I'm Elise Chingari. And just hours ago from the Oval Office, President Joe Biden spoke of the shooting, warning of the risks of political violence here in the United States.
Tonight, I want to speak to what we do know. A former president was shot, an American citizen killed, while simply exercising his freedom to support the candidate of his choosing. We cannot, we must not go down this road in America. We've traveled it before throughout our history. Violence has never been the answer. There is no place in America for this kind of violence, for any violence ever. Period. No exceptions. We can't allow this violence to be normalized.
Biden says political passions can run high, but we must never descend into violence. Now, as we get ready to head into a new week, let's take a look right now at what we know so far in the assassination attempt on former President Trump. We now know the names of the shooting victims. According to the Pennsylvania governor, 50-year-old Corey Compentor is being called a hero tonight. He dove over his wife and 2 daughters to protect them when gunshots were fired, which is when he was shot and killed. A second shooting victim who was wounded is 57-year-old David Dutch. The third victim wounded is 74-year-old James Copenhaver. Both are still in the hospital tonight. 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks has been identified as the shooter. His motive for the shooting is still unclear at this time. The Secret Service is investigating how the gunman was able to even get so close in the first place. The FBI does believe he acted alone, and this is now being investigated as an act of domestic terrorism. We have live team coverage tonight of this big story and what happens next. Our NBC2's Christopher Salas is there in Milwaukee on the eve of the Republican National Convention, where security protocols are being looked at as we speak. Also, our Mohammed Abdul Qawi is hearing firsthand from some local Southwest Florida delegates who are there right now. So what is the current climate there like now? Let's start with Christopher Salas, who talked to the Secret Service about the security plans there in place in Milwaukee.
Elise, the Secret Service said today the Republican National Convention is already operating under the highest national security level. Because of that, they're not making any changes to their safety plans. Former President Donald Trump arriving in Milwaukee for the Republican National Convention, just a day after surviving an assassination attempt. The former president posting on social media today, it was God alone who prevented the unthinkable from happening, saying it's more important than ever we stand united. Finally saying, I cannot allow a shooter or potential assassin to force changes to the RNC schedule. Secret Service security in full swing in preparation of the former president's arrival and the first day of the convention. But the agency says they are not taking new steps in light of the attack.
We are fully prepared and have a comprehensive security plan in place, and we're ready to go.
President Joe Biden calling for a full investigation into Saturday's shooting and for the Secret Service to continue to keep the former president safe.
I've directed the head of the Secret Service to review all security measures for the Republican National Convention.
All of it coming as we're getting new details on the shooter.
There's no indication that there was somebody else involved with this helping him. So, yeah, it looks like he was a lone wolf.
The FBI said 20-year-old Thomas Crooks used an AR-style rifle his father purchased legally, and they're still looking into how Crooks got the weapon. The Bureau also said they're investigating the shooting as an act of domestic terror, but the Bureau has not determined a motive. The FBI agent in charge of the field office here in Milwaukee said today he's not aware of any articulated threats against the Republican National Convention or anyone who's attending this week's event. In Milwaukee, I'm Christopher Salas, NBC2.
Christopher, thank you. And as we continue our team coverage on the convention, our NBC2's Mohammed Abdul Qawi spoke with local politicians about their concerns regarding the safety at the convention, as many of them arrived in Milwaukee just a few hours ago. Mohammed joins us live in studio with what they have to say. Mohammed?
I spent the day reaching out to delegates here in Southwest Florida who are in Milwaukee right now preparing for the Republican National Convention. Many who I talked with say the atmosphere in Milwaukee is different right now in light of the weekend assassination attempt. All eyes are on Milwaukee as tens of thousands are gearing up to attend the Republican National Convention on Monday. This comes after a 20-year-old gunman shot former President Donald Trump in an assassination attempt at a weekend rally in Butler, Pennsylvania.
It's a miracle. I think God was with him. The fact that it probably looked like it tipped his ear, it could have hit him in the head. And of course he could have died yesterday.
We spoke to Republican State Committee woman Joanne DiBartolo this weekend in Naples after Trump was shot. DiBartolo is one of the many delegates here in Southwest Florida who will be in attendance all week in Milwaukee. We caught up with her over the phone tonight to see what the atmosphere is like now.
They closed off some of the streets and they were not letting the Uber drivers get down, so we had to go to they were closing out many of the streets, so we had to go to different routes.
Madison Cawthorn, a former congressman who is a resident of Lee County, says he's also noticing a difference since his last visit.
Given the amount of added security that's going on here.
Despite the increased security, Cawthorn says something like this shouldn't happen.
It's so sad. And I think that we just need to come together as a nation and reject any form of political violence and just say we're all Americans and we're going to make this country the best it can be.
You know, tomorrow you're going to get a different feel of what people are talking about and what they're expecting for the week and everything.
The Republican National Convention runs all week and will wrap up on Thursday when former President Trump is expected to take the stage. Reporting live in the studio, Mohammed Abdul Qawi, NBC2.
Mohammed, thank you. And tonight, former President Donald Trump is calling for unity and resilience. It's a sentiment being echoed by his Democratic rival. In fact, tonight's primetime address from President Biden is his third since Saturday evening's attack on Donald Trump. The president acknowledged the passions of an election year. He says he and Republicans offer different policy visions, but is asking all Americans to recommit to resolving their differences peacefully.
Disagreement is inevitable in American democracy. It's part of human nature. But politics must never be a literal battlefield, and God forbid, a killing field. I believe politics ought to be an arena for peaceful debate, to pursue justice, to make decisions guided by the Declaration of Independence.
The Biden campaign says it's pausing all messaging to supporters. It's also trying to pull down all of its TV ads as quickly as possible. The White House says President Biden is postponing a trip to Texas, which was originally planned for tomorrow. Now, there's still a lot of information to unpack with new developments happening around the clock. I mean, basically every second. So here's what's happening next. The shooting is being investigated as an attempted assassination and domestic terrorism. The FBI has assumed the role of the lead federal law enforcement agency in this ongoing investigation. The FBI has not yet identified a motive for the assassination attempt. The shooter's family is cooperating with federal investigators. The Trump campaign and RNC says the convention in Milwaukee will proceed as normal. Trump says he's looking forward to joining later this week. He's already there in Milwaukee tonight. And make sure you stay with us. We'll have full coverage starting tomorrow on NBC2 News Today. And the Today Show is live all morning long from Milwaukee. Also, NBC's Lester Holt is sitting down with President Biden tomorrow in an exclusive interview. And you can watch the Republican National Convention right here on NBC2 News at 9 p.m.
Tonight, the search is on for the bear that mauled a man and his dog in Collier County. This is the first time there's ever been a deadly bear encounter with a person in the state of Florida. Crews found the man's body in the Big Cypress National Preserve this morning, right off State Road 29, south of Alligator Alley. Gulf Coast News reporter Alexa Velez is live in Collier County with the latest from FWC on this investigation and the search for the bear.
We're just down the road from where FWC and deputies are hunting for the bear they say killed a man and dog. This is next to the Big Cypress National Preserve. Let's show you what that looks like from above. FWC and Collier County deputies have been searching the woods along State Road 29 north of US 41 for hours. This is a lot of land to cover. FWC says an elderly man was home alone with his dog and both were killed around 7 this morning. When we arrived, we saw dozens of officers and deputies investigating. They had a drone flying overhead searching for what they believe is a Florida black bear. They don't have any witnesses right now, but they've sent a DNA sample to the University of Florida to confirm if it was indeed a bear. Bear attacks on people are very rare in Florida.
All of the indicators show that this did occur as a black bear incident. It will be the first in the state as a fatality on a human. But that is all preliminary.
FWC is still trying to track the bear down. They have set up a perimeter. They say to please avoid the area if possible, and lethal force is always the last option. For now, reporting live in Collier County, I'm Alexa Velez, Gulf Coast News.
Bear encounters are extremely rare. In 2018, we introduced you to the last local man who was attacked by a bear. So 7 years ago, Andy Munir was left with 41 stitches and a lot of bruises after the attack in North Naples. Today, we caught up with him.
You were in a very similar situation. That could have happened to you. You know, what would you say, first of all, to that family and to the situation in general?
It's terrible. My heart goes out to them. My prayers go out to them. That's all I can say about that. Avoiding it, and in that situation, I don't know what could have been done. You know, and like I said before, there's extenuating circumstances to everything.
Experts say housing developments and drought conditions could be bringing bears closer to people. Also during the spring, cubs are starting to venture out, and protected mama bears are always nearby.
This was the first deadly bear attack ever in the state of Florida, as we said. In the last 2 decades, though, there have been 43 physical encounters reported between people and black bears, 3 of them along the Gulf Coast, none deadly. If a black bear attacks you, fight back aggressively. Don't, play dead. People have successfully fended off black bears using rocks, sticks, or even their hands. Meantime, wildlife advocates will be holding statewide protests next week in Naples and Fort Myers against the state's planned black bear trophy hunt.
And the following week, FWC will make the decision on whether to approve the bear hunt. The last hunt was in October of 2015. It was supposed to last a week, but was called off after just 2 days because the bear death count rose faster than expected. Count on Gulf Coast News to keep you updated on what FWC decides.
Unfortunately, like a lot of people, we didn't expect quite what it was.
It's the hurricane hazard you often don't think about.
He started getting shocked with his feet walking through the house.
Water coming in through the windows, coming in through the rush of the door there.
Floodwaters supercharged from electrical currents.
If we get off this water and we're trying to leave, we're going to get shocked. We can't get out of... I was just terrified.
Tonight, we're speaking with a couple reliving the nightmare and picking up the pieces.
We're a little displaced right now. The house being condemned.
And neighbors banding together to help families in need.
The community here is literally so amazing. Everyone is trying their best to help us.
First responders from Naples to Charlotte County warned of electrical currents flowing through floodwaters at the height of the storm.
NBC2's Samantha Serban met a Charlotte County family who faced that danger while
I've been here 27 years in the area as a builder and have never seen devastation like this before.
Some Southwest Florida communities suffering loss unlike anything they've ever encountered.
Massive devastation, especially this area.
Hurricane Milton leaving behind debris and new problems for our Southwest Florida waterways.
It's bright blue, super clear, my little brown.
What you need to know before you hit the beach.
No, I had no idea that there was an advisory.
And we will not be swimming in the ocean today.
No more swimming in the ocean.
No. Your news at 5 starts right now.
So it is scary. These winds are just fueling it all.
Today we do have high winds. It hasn't rained recently. Any little fire that is started takes off way faster than it would normally.
High fire danger alert. 6 brush fires in just 3 days along the Gulf Coast.
Potential for a lot of damage to be done.
Flames closing roads, forcing evacuations, burning dangerously close to homes.
We already talked to our friends, and they said if we have to evacuate, we can go with them. Just hope it doesn't get to that point.
We're on fire watch right now on Gulf Coast News at 5. More brush fires today, high winds and dry conditions adding to the danger we're seeing. A red flag warning signaling high fire danger in Lee, Charlotte, and DeSoto counties. Gulf Coast News has team coverage tracking 6 brush fires in 3 days from North Fort Myers to Golden Gate Estates to Hendry County. Good evening, I'm Kelly Burns.
I'm Christy Soto. The fire in North Fort Myers burned about 2 acres but is now contained. We will take you there live, but first, Gulf Coast News Chief Meteorologist Allison Ray is here with a look at how long we can expect these dangerous conditions.
So the elevated risk is going to last for the rest of the day. The dry conditions are going to continue for months. So each day we got to watch out for specific things that make it more of an elevated risk than just dry out there and dry vegetation, dry soil. We have the elevated risk today because of the high winds and the low humidity. And for that reason, that fire weather warning is in place until tonight at 7 o'clock. For the weekend, we're not getting a ton of rain, but the humidity will increase and the winds will relax. Winds tonight still on the breezy side until we see about 9 o'clock at night. That's when the winds will finally kind of relax. But the winds 20, 25 miles per hour, that will continue. So we're not out of the woods here just yet. Coming up, we'll kind of walk you through those rain chances. Not everyone's going to see rain. So who will see rain and at what time? That's coming up in your Gulf Coast weather.
Allison, thank you. Gulf Coast News reporter Alexia Chiropoulos is live in North Fort Myers, where crews just contained that fire along Littleton Road and US 41.
Yes, Kelly, that is right. This fire is officially contained. Crews have just moved out. I will say, though, the wind and dry conditions remain. And a fire official that we spoke to earlier today, they tell us the combination of those two things make fires, brush fires, specifically like this one, pop up out of nowhere.
Sirens, tons of sirens. We thought there was a bad accident. And then he was on Facebook and someone said they saw smoke. So we looked out and saw a bunch of smoke here. Jumped in the car, came down.
Cindy Knight and her husband live across the street from Littleton Road. At 1:30, they heard sirens before they saw all of this smoke.
So it is scary. These winds are just fueling it all.
Wind and dry conditions create a recipe for disaster.
At this current time, it's 16 miles an hour with 23 mile an hour gusts. So that's pretty good potential for if something does start it'll spread decently quick.
Lehigh fire engineer Joel Rivas has been fighting brush fires for over 5 years. He says in Lehigh, they have to be ready at any time.
We are known as the brush fire department because we get them the most. So we do train a little bit more on, how to go off-roading with our vehicles, make sure, we're safe, but also do an aggressive fire attack.
Although Cindy lives in North Fort Myers, she has this to say to all the firefighters who keep us safe.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank God for them.
Firefighters with North Fort Myers and Florida Forest Service were able to contain this 2-acre fire in just under 3 hours. You can still see some smoke in the air, just remaining pieces of what was here just a few hours ago. Those crews have since cleared out, and this fire is officially contained. I'm reporting in North Fort Myers. Alexia Chiropoulos, Gulf Coast News.
Oil Well Road in Collier County just reopened after another brush fire there. The sheriff's office shut down Oil Well from Camp Kias to State Road 29 due to heavy smoke in the area. They were concerned about cars being able to see. The fire service says fire's growing. It's now about 1 acre in size. At the same time, crews are still working to put out a growing brush fire in Hendry County. This one started yesterday afternoon. Florida Forest Service is reporting more than 550 acres have burned as of about 3:30 this afternoon. In the Okaloosa Slough State Forest, it's about 80% contained right now. No homes or structures are in danger. Make sure you download the new Gulf Coast News and Weather app. We'll update you throughout the... The dry weather sparks more brush fires today, creating dangerous conditions across the Gulf Coast.
All of a sudden I saw these flames come shooting up.
Just as fire crews were still putting out hot spots in North Naples.
My neighbor, I had just gotten home and my neighbor called me and said the neighborhood's on fire. People were just running around crying and screaming.
Another fire starts in Golden Gate Estates. We're on fire watch right now on Gulf Coast News at 5. Gulf Coast News is tracking the drought and our high fire danger with team coverage. The second brush fire in 2 days. Dry conditions and high winds fueling the blaze. Thank you for counting on Gulf Coast News at 5. I'm Kelly Burns.
And I'm Peter Bush. Yesterday, the hotspot was North Naples. A brush fire sparked next to I-75 near Immokalee Road. Burned more than 4 acres, caused a major backup on the interstate. Crews were still putting out hot spots there this morning. And today, a fire sparked in Golden Gate Estates near 31st Avenue, shutting down Everglades Boulevard. Gulf Coast News reporter Ryan Arbogast is there live where this fire damaged a home.
Holy cow. Out here off of Caxambas.
An incredibly rare sight in the Gulf this week. Once off Collier County, and this was just 6 miles off the coast of Sanibel. 2 North Atlantic right whales swimming in just 30 feet of water. There's only about 370s left in the world. They are massive. They can top 50 feet long, weigh 100,000 pounds. Just to put that into perspective, that's the length of a semi-truck with its trailer, and as heavy as 5 fully loaded school buses. Gulf Coast News reporter Ryan Arbogast is on Fort Myers Beach, where he took a ride today to try and spot the whales for himself.
The National Weather Service is only sending out weather alerts in English. It's a change experts say could put millions at risk. According to 2019 census data, nearly 68 million people in the U.S. speak a language other than English, and over 24% of people in Lee County speak a language other than English at home. Maribel Gonzalez has more on why access to weather alerts is vital.
Coming up at 11, 3 drownings in Southwest Florida in 3 different counties, all within 24 hours. Now tonight, we're hearing from one grieving father who tells us he lost his 19-month-old son after deputies swarmed this Collier County home. And as the investigation continues around this lake, a drowning prevention advocate speaks with NBC2.
Unfortunately, we're probably going to hit that 100 mark by the end of the year. I believe we're already pushing 70 drownings. And we're talking about children that have died.
As he shares how we can all do our part to try and prevent future tragedies. Your News at 11 is just seconds away.
The statement I shared with him, I probably should not have.
A Charlotte County commissioner in the hot seat for using a racial slur.
I said, believe it or not, I was actually called the N-word.
As his peers ask him to throw in the towel.
Such actions are not tolerated under any circumstances. It brings shame without reservation. I ask you to resign from office.
Our conversation about the president led him to dropping the N-word.
And I certainly apologize sincerely to him, and actually I apologize to all of you.
Gulf Coast News at 5 starts right now.
New information about the Lee County school employee at the center of a sex scandal.
Someone that's been entrusted with our children.
And she should be ashamed of herself.
We're speaking with parents about the disturbing accusations.
And construction chaos continues for this diverging diamond project.
Can't swear on TV. I was about to say it's a
Here in the Gulf Coast News Studio, we've got a live report on how the road work could affect your weekend plans.
And have you ever seen a $5 million car? Well, you will tonight on Gulf Coast News at 5. I'm going to show you where you can also see it in person this weekend and how you can help feed families in our community.
The news you count on. NBC2 News at 11.
A gun goes off inside this Naples mall and a teenager gets shot in the leg and sent to the hospital. We're revealing what the police department just said about the two people involved.
Well, flames shot out of this home in San Carlos Park. Next at 11, I'm telling you what the homeowner says he thinks started the fire.
Plus, a cold front is barreling towards southwest Florida, and it's expected to bring the coldest temperatures we've seen all season. I'll let you know what morning you want to make sure that your seat heater is cranked up. Right now on NBC2 News at 11.
These kids are taking guns at 12 years old.
Kids causing chaos in Cape Coral.
Our youth is moving too fast.
Hear what police think led up to a 13-year-old being shot in the back and a 12-year-old in handcuffs.
Plus, they advertised aromatherapy, but clients were getting a lot more than just that.
Panties and roofing does not make sense. All men, like grossly older men. That was all that was coming in and out.
How an undercover deputy walked in for the cents and walked out seeing way more than he bargained for. Gulf Coast News at 5 starts right now.